So this is a Hitachi UH7, which is like a 1970s Hitachi equivalent to like somewhere between a 115 and 200. It's not a huge machine, and it's got super weird controls, but and it's gray market, which means it's from the Asian market and has been shipped over here. So all the writing is in, I think this one's in Japanese, and the Dodge. Don't forget about the Dodge. And the sleepy dog. So it's early. The sun's just coming up. Previous owner of the property had an excavator. He left it up on the road when he moved out. I got a hold of him, and we're looking at possibly buying it from him because the place needs a machine. But I barely even managed to drive it down the driveway before it broke down. Actually didn't. I got it 2/3 of the way down the driveway. It broke down. I managed to limp it into the yard, but it's right in the way. So you can't drive a vehicle in here. You can't get anything in here right now. It's like right in the middle of everything. You drive in right there. And the worst problem is that I've got a delivery of lumber coming today. So I have to get this moved, up and running and moved before my lumber truck shows up. So I'm gonna pull the fuel filters off. It feels like a fuel problem. It's low on power, but all the hydraulics kind of work, but it bogs everything down. So I'm gonna pull the fuel filters off. I don't have change ones yet because it's not my machine. And yesterday was the first time I ran it. I assumed it would, I hoped it would run. But so I'm gonna pull the fuel filters off, empty them out, and hope that I get enough movement out of it to get it down the hill and out of the way. So I got started on this last night, and then it opened up raining, and I didn't feel like working in the rain, so I decided to work on it a bit this morning. But then it got cold. As you can see, my gloves are frozen. But I did manage to get the Raycor fuel filter off, and you can see the nasty that was in there. I'm going to clean that out, and then this is the other fuel filter. That's a canister, so I have to take the nut off the bottom, drop it down, pull the canister out, clean it as best I can, put it back in until I can get a proper replacement filter. But Raycor goes here, goes from the fuel tank, up this line, through the Raycor, which is just a brand of filter, down through the priming pump, which is on the outside of the inline injection pump down there. Yeah, through this line, through the priming pump, up through this filter, which is the primary filter, and then down through this line into the injection pump, and then to the injectors. If we do end up buying this machine, you're gonna see a lot of me just cleaning it and doing other assorted things. The coolant needs to be changed. I'm gonna investigate why that's cut off. It needs a thorough cleaning, and I don't know when the last time it's been greased is. It's kind of one of those things where we're not sure if this is a good idea, but it would be really useful to have. Or we could fix it up, sell it, and buy a mini. Today's video is brought to you by Maxwell House Gourmet Coffee. You can see from the debris in the bottom of that, this filter has not been changed in a while, just the sludge. The fuel that came out of here was cloudy. It was not in great shape. Really, really messy. This filter is not particularly clean. And you can see the algae buildup, I don't know if you can, on top of this filter. So it kind of tracks with what I expected, that the filters are clogged, the fuel is dirty. So this is the Raycor filter I was telling you about. It's a pre-filter made by Parker. They're really good units. They're on almost everything. I don't have a replacement one yet. I will. So for now, I'm just trying to get, oh man, that is just nasty in there. I'm trying to get as much debris out from inside, because all I have to do is move this machine like 100 yards. But I gotta get it running enough to do that. So this, I believe, is just plugged solid, and that's limiting fuel to the machine, which is limiting power, so it just stalls out when I try to use any of the hydraulics at this point. So I'm trying to clean this out just enough to get me down the road just a bit, so I'm not right in the middle of the driveway, and then I can fix it properly when I get back. All right, I think I got a temporary fix on it. I actually ended up having to bypass the primary fuel filter because it's so clogged. I couldn't get anything through it. It was priming, I was just pulling a vacuum. So I cut the lines off, ran directly to the injection, or the primer pump, and then through the factory secondary filter, and bypassed this Raycor completely until I can get a new one. It still has one fuel filter on it, so don't jump down my throat for that. I'm gonna see if this will fire up, and if it will, get this out of the way. sun's coming up, we're good to go. The only downside gotta be super careful climbing off of this thing because it's covered in ice. So the only downside that I've found so far is A, the machine has obviously been neglected, and B, when I was turning it over, these hydraulic tanks are pressurized, so they get air pumped into them, pressurizes and positively feeds the pump, make sure the pump gets lots of supply. When I was turning it over, the compressor was turning over as well. And when it didn't start and I stopped it to glow it a second time, I noticed that the hydraulic tank has an air leak, which means it's not properly positively pressured, which will destroy the hydraulic pump eventually. So I'm gonna have to fix that as well before using this machine properly.